including 2710B Montrose Boulevard, Bolo's Wood-Fired Pizza, 2202 Alabama Street, and Brook Street Barbecue with locations in Sugar Land, Missouri City, and at 1009 Missouri Street in Houston, all of which have donated gift cards for qualifying sustainer pledges. For more information, see our website, kpft.org.
Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. And of course, good morning to the world, receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, created by we, the people, formerly known as the ARPANET. Folks, we have a great program for you today. Remember, this weekend is going to be big. We must get beyond that 3.5% to let folks understand that, yes, we are the people. We, the people of the United States. And folks, we demand. Anyway, we are going to have a great program for you today. Before we get started, I want to tell you that we are officially in Fund Drive. But like I promised the last time, and I will this time as well, we are going to have a program and we are going to discuss the issues. But we also want to ask of you, especially in these times, that every time we go out there, every time we break to ask for a donation for a few minutes in between the shows, please use that time to contribute. Those of you that have the wherewithal to do so, because especially in these times, we no longer, well, the mainstream media has always been problematic, but now they're under coercion. So we are the backstop. We are the backstop. Without further ado, let's go ahead and throw it to the studio, and then we'll get started.
Well, good morning, Egberto. It is Thursday morning at the radio, and we have some exciting stuff going on today. Thursday morning, October the 16th at 2025. That is our year of 2025. And if the tin cans and string have held up, we might have our interim general manager, or real general manager, Sandy Weinman.
I have no board audio.
Oh, then how are you hearing me?
And not only that, I'm hearing him as well, which means that he's being heard on air as well.
Okay. Well, and
but anyhow,
we'll get back to you.
Yeah. Well, as that goes, as we continue, and I'll get back to Jack in a minute, but I want to say welcome aboard. Today is Thursday, which means it's Neil Aquino Day. Neil, how you doing this morning?
Back.
I'm doing well. Good morning, local, regional, global, Politics Done Right audience. And we're going to talk about, today we're going to talk about no kings. We're going to talk about empowering ourselves and leading ourselves. And today that's going to include supporting Egberto Politics Done Right programming and KPFT as an important source of independent media. There's never been a more important time to do that, and that's going to be consistent with all of the many No Kings events going on across the Houston region, Texas, and the nation.
Absolutely so, Neil. I'm glad to hear that, and you are going to be instrumental in that, and even our effective operator engineer in the studio as well. I understand that he'll be participating as well, but is our brother in the house and ready to give his word of the day, Senor Jack Van Beba?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to read your headlines. Welcome to the Progressive Pulse today, where facts, accountability, and clear-eyed analysis reign. In our hour together, we uncover how private equity takeovers worsen patient outcomes, bringing you a hard-hitting conversation with Houston's Democracy Project founder Neil Aquino on local and national protests and politics, and dissect why conservative David Brooks now says he's not a liberal and what that reveals about the conservative mindset. Let's begin.
Let's begin. Let's begin. Let's begin. So, is Sandy up on the board yet, Howard?
He is
All right.
the
Good
Tin
morning,
Can
Sandy.
String
How
I
you
am.
Gorilla.
doing?
Okay, we begin yet another fund drive at KPFT. This is it, folks. We go from fund drive to fund drive, hoping to gather up the money to continue powering our 100,000 watt transmitter and all the other bills that go along with it, equaling, close to 60,000 a month at this point. And we're looking to gain a $175,000 goal over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Depends on how the audience responds as to how long this takes. This time around, we're partnering with Poncho Claus. Poncho Claus, a gentleman named Richard, who operates out of the Greenspoint area, does nothing but good for the community. And for every $1,000 donated, we'll be kicking back $10 of that 150,000. And with that, he will be able to buy, or we will be able to
Help by.
arrange the purchase of bicycles so that he could give those to the community directly. That's what Poncho Claus does. He services the very needy, especially in the area of Greenspoint, if you think about it, if you live in this area. We've also got donated gift cards from restaurants, those of you making $10 a month or more sustaining pledges, or if you have a $5 pledge, bump it $5 to $10. You can choose from one of the 3 restaurateurs that have donated $25 gift cards while they last. I think there are about 60 in total between 3 different restaurants. We also have a long sleeve fall t-shirt, folks, but I don't want to talk about all the thank you gifts. I want to thank everybody for getting us to this point. Here we are, October 2025. 3 years ago, it didn't look so good. It's looking better now, so much so that we haven't come asking for money since our May-June fund drive. So we took a nice long break. And now if you would be so kind, 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Do your part. Keep us whole, keep us here. Egberto.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Anyway, folks, we are going to have a great show. Welcome aboard. Harry Denson is in the house and in the chat from Missouri City, Texas, and from Deer Park we have Ben Uri Deemer. How you doing, my dear brother? And of course, we have from Austin, Texas, the one and only Barbara Fetante, Judy, Susan Howard, and of course, we can't see the first few dozen. There's a little glitch that we have with our link to Substack, but welcome aboard. Anyway, let me throw it to my brother from another mother, Neil Aquino. How you doing, Neil?
I'm doing well. Good morning, and Harry, in Missouri City. So I was just in Missouri City at the excellent Siena Branch Fort Bend County Library, which was a really nice facility, and the Indivisible Fort Bend group had its October meeting, and I spoke with the Houston Democracy Project. That's my operation, and we talked about empowering ourselves, and that was connected to the No Kings demonstration in Richmond, which is at the old Richmond Courthouse on Jackson Street, as I recall it, this Saturday. And so, Harry, if you're up there, you've got a great group, Indivisible Fort Bend, that meets an approximate No Kings demonstration. And Saturday is going to be, I'm telling you folks, the biggest day of protest in American history. Locally, there are No Kings protests in downtown, Katy, Conroe, Pasadena, LaPorte, Richmond, Cypress, Kingwood, Brenham, Pearland, the Woodlands, Clear Lake, Bryan College Station, Navasota, and Cold Spring. Beaumont too. And this is all being done by people like you. So, and that's of course that's part of our pledge drive, sustaining these efforts. People people like you and I, us, and there is a tremendous amount of volunteer work going into these no kings deals. There's very little official support of anything. The no kings downtown, which is 2 to 6 at Houston City Hall, no elected officials are being allowed to speak. No candidates are being allowed to speak, and this is very much rank and file driven. And there are something like, I think, 92 locations in Texas and 2,500, something like that, across the country.
Yeah, that is great. I mean, and for those of you in the Kingwood area, it is going to be at Kingwood Drive at the intersection of Kingwood Drive and Lake Houston Boulevard. Last Kings Drive, we expected 300. We got over 700 people out there, so it is going to be great. Now, you had some stuff that tell us a little bit about the blog that you sent me over.
So I watched. So you didn't have to. Okay, I watched. So you didn't have to. Trump's Antifa Roundtable, I think they called it. Okay, and here's the upshot. You know, we are they each of us opposed to fascism in their view is Antifa. Um, they intend to call all protest Antifa. They liken it to gangs and terrorists. They are linking October 18th protests to Antifa. They said that in places like Portland and Chicago and Los Angeles, the mayors and police departments in these cities are enabling and even cooperating with it. No matter how you oppose Trump, you will be called Antifa. Everyone funding Antifa must be investigated, including its funding source. And that's just rank and file. For example, Act Blue. Let's say you donate to a Democratic candidate and you do it through Act Blue. They're investigating Act Blue. And opposition is inherently almost a form of terrorism. And let me tell you, they really resent being called fascists and authoritarians. They had this 90-minute roundtable, which I watched, so you didn't have to. So please contribute to KPFT, okay? Because we took that burden on for you of why it was a horrible program. Any program, it's one of the worst programs I ever watched. And they are they are conflating all opposition to a form of terrorism. And so for folks who think they can sit this out, or who think that they're hey, I'm just donating to a candidate, or just voting, they are coming for everything. I just can't overstate that they are coming for our civil liberties. They're coming. You see how they're going after universities, law firms, all of it. And they had a number of these to again make a pledge push. They had 4 or 5 so-called journalists there, and these are right-wing podcasters and programmers with tremendous amounts of resources, and they were at the White House with Trump. Here at KPFT, Egberto, we're not getting an invite to the White House. Okay, we're not getting an invite even to City Hall. So the programming here really needs to be strongly supported. There were and many of these podcasters, they started, just small, just there, and now have the largest, some of the largest platforms possible.
I think it's important, something that you pointed out, and that is the we are in the initial stages of, and again, I know a lot of times people think what we're speaking about is hyperbole,
Right.
a lot of times, but if you follow the TikTok, and I'm not talking TikTok the application, if you follow the TikTok of how things are occurring, we are following almost verbatim what was done by Orbán in Hungary. Okay, we are doing it almost. There's a reporter. I think she is with the Atlantic. Sean Bond. I can't remember her name. But I'll try to post that pretty soon. That is going through the iterations. So we have a map to look at. We have the options to see how it's done, which means we also have the options to stop it. And that is where you come in. Earlier, Neil and I was speaking about we were speaking about what the mayor is doing and some of the things he had to say. What I'll let you say it, Neil. What the when it comes to pushing back against the administration from the people
Right.
in power in the city.
So I watch, as part of my Houston Democracy Project work, I watch every public comment session, and you can go to Houston City Hall Tuesdays, most Tuesdays, 2 o'clock. Now, anyone can speak. You can sign up with the city clerk, and you can sign up 5, 6 days in advance, and you'll be called earlier to speak. Anyone can do it, and that's true at your town council. And before I want to shout out to the folks in Conroe, and
Yes,
Egberto reported on this. The police chief of Conroe wanted to make protest of over 25 people get an insurance permit, and costly insurance, and no one has any money for this. No one has. Okay, Charlie Kirk's getting a Medal of Freedom posthumously, and their top folks are on this circuit, and there's tons of money in Conroe. They were going to make it so that if you had over 25 people, you needed an insurance policy, pay security costs, and the police chief still had the capacity to cancel the event. So many folks went to Conroe City Hall that motion was tabled. Now, obviously, it could come back, but they made it clear. And to think about, this is Montgomery County, very
very
red area,
red.
very
Yeah,
conservative area. But Conroe has had great, consistent protests. And so no community is on the periphery. No community, no person, no community. Um, and if you're in some of the places I mentioned earlier, um, that's having a no kings, it's super important. So at Houston City Hall, there's a big topic of conversation in the Montrose area at Westheimer and Taft has been the Pride crosswalk with the rainbow colors. And the state and the transportation secretary, Duffy, Trump's, has ordered that all these crosswalks be painted over. And Greg Abbott, of course, followed that order. There's a lot of discussion. Mayor Whitmire said that I got to remove this thing, or they're going to cut our funding, federal funding. And now he's true. He's not making that up. And when I watched some of the city budget process earlier this year, for example, 90% of the health funding is federal. Just think about the vulnerability. 90% of Houston's health department is federally funded. The housing department, I forget the exact number, it was similar. There was also discussion yesterday about ICE. There's a specific case that you may have read about in the paper about a mother and an autistic child. I'm a little confused by the narrative. The child is a 15-year-old is now in federal custody. I'm a little confused about how the police chief reported it. But Whitmire again said, "Look, we really shouldn't even be discussing this." They did discuss it, but he said this conference. Here's the upshot: no matter what happens, Houston is not going to reply. Okay, habeas corpus is suspended. They mess with our elections. Some tragedy occurs with ICE, a shooting. They are not, according to Mayor Whitmire, the city of Houston is not going to respond. It has been difficult to get any of the 10 Democratic members or the 6 Republican members of council to speak, even as the world burns around them. So we're going to continue to press City Hall, but this fight is ours. Okay, you see you see media afraid to talk. The University of Houston couldn't get rid of its LGBT and African American and all that entities, separate graduations. They couldn't do it quick enough. at order from the state and the federal government. This fight is truly ours. I can't overstate it. And this morning, you have the capacity to engage in that fight by donating to KPFT specifically this morning in the name of Egberto Willies Politics Done Right. This is one of the best consistent sources of independent media. And as I say, every week that I'm on a pledge drive, I've now been on a few. The public persona of Egberto is the same as the private. He works hard at the content, works relentlessly at the content, is open to all voices, friendly, and that the show is centered around the caller. The caller always has the capacity to change the subject that we're talking about if they want to talk about something, and I encourage you to do that.
Thank you so kindly for that, Neil. Welcome, Jacqueline Campisi from Professora Jacqueline Campisi from Katy, Texas. Bill Lai, good morning. And Joe from Los Angeles, California, welcome aboard. And likewise for all the great folks that I see, Margaret Rand, Steve Rosenberg, Rosenwig, Michael Callett, Bob Reiger, Mary B in the chat. I'm going to go to Sandy for a bit of pitching. Folks, Sandy going to take a couple of minutes and pitch. I'm going to ask you to use, I know you want to stay around for all the stuff that we're going to talk about. I'm going to ask you so kindly as Sandy pitches to call in. Call in that number, 713-526-5738, and give whatever you can. But at the same time, or go to kpft.org and hit that donate button. Select Politics Done Right as the program you're supporting. But please do that now so we can give you a big thank you on air. We really need your support, especially in these times. Manager in force, Sandy, come on in.
Thank you, Egberto. Appreciate that. And I also appreciate Patty and Tag up in Six Lakes, Michigan. Always nice to see that very first pledge on the very first morning of our on-air fund drive come in. So Patty and Tag, thank you for acknowledging our efforts here in Houston. I know you are big fans. They used to live here and they took it with them. Perhaps they've downloaded our new app and they're listening on their streaming device that way. The KPFT radio app is available in the Apple and Android stores. Folks, $100 gets you a brand new fall pledge drive t-shirt. This design came from our own Blues Hound. It's a beautiful image of that classic tree with its leaves turning here in the fall. And of course, KPFT radio on there so that people will know where your money goes, where your mind is, where your ears are. We need your support to continue. It's been like this for 55 and a half years. Again, we have a $150,000 goal. But thanks to Patty and Tag and 189 other distinct acts of kindness, mostly coming from rollover pledges that occurred on October 1st. In other words, sustainers continuing their pledge. Thank you for doing that. Makes a huge difference. We've already gathered $45,570. So we're off to a really good start here on our fall fund drive. And we could really get this thing over with quickly. And that would be great for all of us here behind the mic. And for many of you out there that don't appreciate the need that we have and the reason that we come to you. A lot of people just don't dig fund drives, so they just turn it off. Before you turn it off, if you're one of those people, do your part. $5 or $10 a month. $10 a month gets you one of those restaurant gift cards donated by our underwriters. They're good for barbecue or pizza, I believe. And you can look at kpft.org and see all of the details, all of the t-shirts, all of the thank you gifts. If you're not into shirts or meals out, maybe you're just into a cup of coffee, as I am this morning, a pound of Caroline Street beans and a coffee mug from KPFT. It's a $120 donation to KPFT. And again, you can do that at $10 per month. Sustainers, we really need more sustainers. If you have an existing sustainer membership, consider upping it $5 or $10 a month. Now more than ever, now more than ever, KPFT is needed. Here we are, 55 and a half years into this experiment, and we find ourselves at maybe the most critical time with a critical need for community media, for that independent voice. Many stations across the country have already folded up shop. The CPB money that they're not getting is the difference. Here at KPFT, we don't rely on that. However, we do rely on our listeners. And if you're listening to me right now, that's you. That's me. So come on now, 713-526-5738, 713-526-KPFT. You hit option 1 when you hear the little voice, or go to kpft.org. See all the thank you gifts. We have new concert tickets up online. Click the ticket icon to review what we got. And I want to thank Susan Darrow for getting that stuff together again. But the important part is that you participate, that we all participate, that we all do our bit to keep KPFT going. Looking for $500 this morning. Tag and Patty got us off to a start, but we're still considerably short of that goal. 5 of you doing a t-shirt at $100 will make that goal. 713-526-5738, option 1. Egberto, back to you.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. And yes, folks, Sandy just ended with the T-shirt of $100 contribution. The Politics Done Right T-shirt. The KPFT staff gave you a pretty neat design. That is $100 contribution. 713-526-5738. Option 1 to donate. Option 2 to speak. The story that I want you guys to take a look at off air is it's an older story by Anne Applebaum. Anne Applebaum at the Atlantic, and it's titled "America's Future is Hungary." I wish he would have added America's future is Hungary if we don't do what is necessary to save our democracy. And it is in our hands. It is in the hands of our listener. I see that Reyes Nunez is on the line. Paul Fleming from Atlanta, Georgia is on the line. Let's go ahead and bring in some callers. Kendall, line 2, come on in.
Hey, Humberto,
Good morning, sir.
talking about the sustainers, yeah. My wife passed recently, and she was a donator, and I'm a donator. Both sustainers, of course. So I called in to the station and had her donation continued added to my credit card.
Kendall, I thank, first of all, beforehand, I give my most sincere condolences to you, my friend, and thank you for extending her legacy at our station. We really are very appreciative of that. And again, our most sincere condolences from both myself and the entire KPFT, my brother.
Well, with the last commentary from the staff, I had to just call in and say this.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, and we appreciate you. You are one helping save our democracy, sir. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Richard. Come on in, Richard.
Yeah, we must be doing something right in Congo, where they're trying to charge us for amendment rights. And I think Vic Scott and Barnett wrote a letter to them that no, you can't for a First Amendment right. They're not going to stop, though. They've done some good. But I just want to let joke. It's when the orange pig was at the hospital for COVID and during the first he was being the last patient had some long stem tulips.
Richard,
And
you're breaking up. You're breaking up a lot.
you're,
I don't know if it's your internet or if it is your location. Can you kind of fix your location? Because you're breaking up a lot.
is that better? I just
No,
No,
is
it's
that
still
better?
breaking.
no,
No, it's still.
we've lost you, Richard. Richard's
Yeah,
in Conroe, and
yeah.
he's talking about. He was referencing Richard. You're just. I'm sorry. Maybe try the call again. You're just breaking up. But Richard is in Conroe and was referencing what we began the beginning of the show with one of the topics that the people who stepped up in Conroe to oppose
Mm-hmm.
restrictions on protest. And Richard is. I know Richard is an embodiment of
Mm-hmm.
citizen-led action. He has participated in Conroe and Huntsville, and is really doing the work.
He is the embodiment of what we say when we talk about engagement, that everybody has to engage. Richard is the embodiment of that. And I see in the chat, I think this is our Vicky from Kingwood. She's in the chat
Okay.
as well. Vicky has a big job on her hand for
Yeah.
Saturday, as we expect a whole lot of people in Kingwood, Texas. If this is the Vicky, if the Vicky I'm seeing in the chat is you, Vicky from Kingwood, look, thank you for what you do. I sent you I dropped you a line earlier this morning as I got into the studio. Keep up the great work. We honor you, and thank all of you that are out there doing stuff. We thank you, and all of you that are listening to my voice right now. Thank you, and we have to stay active. I got some thank yous to give. I want to give a big thank you to wow, there's a one-time donation there that doesn't have a name on it. So they just put it in there without a name. I want to give a big thank you to Betty. Betty says, I've been listening to
Oh,
Politics
great.
Done
Yep.
Right since 2016. Love you, Betty. You know I love me some Betty. Margaret, thank you so kindly, Margaret. Margaret came to us many a times to both the 3 o'clock and the 3 o'clock and the 6 o'clock show. You guys are wonderful. Let's keep the train going, because this is how we are going to get it done. Lynette says thank you for each of your efforts, all of us. Uh, Jack, Howard, Mayana, Sandy. I'm calling those. I'm calling out the Politics and Right team. Neil, look, teamwork, and all of us, all the folks in the chat, all the folks on air, we are the team that have to do we are the team, that's singular, that has to do the work to make sure we maintain our democracy. And that is what we're going to do, folks. I have some other things to talk about, but I think I've gone another 15 minutes. So let's throw it back to Sandy a second here. And while Sandy's talking, please use those phones, 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate, or go to kpft.org. Please be sure to select Politics Done Right so that we know that you're contributing via this program. Thank you so kindly, guys. Sandy?
Thank you, Egberto. And thanks to all those people that just stepped up and provided that first little flurry here on the first morning of our fund drive. This gets us closer to our goal. I want to remind everybody that we're commercial free. In 55 and a half years, there has never, ever been a commercial on KPFT, nor will there be. We're licensed as a community radio station. Many of you are familiar with Pacifica and some of the struggles that we had with the FCC. We had some issues in New York and LA at our stations there, but hey, there are 5 stations and we operate essentially under one license, so we're all impacted. And this is why we're not really talking to you about ticket lists anymore and other things. They're on our website. But essentially, it's up to you, the listener, to keep this experiment going as it has always been. And especially right now, we're talking about things, our freedoms are on the line. We hear it every day. The more outrageous a statement that can be made by the administration, we'll call it that, the better off they feel about it. How much can they shock you right out of your pants? Every day it comes at you. It isn't going to get any better. And we need this forum. We need KPFT to keep on discussing these issues as we do here this morning. And don't forget, we also have our HD2 and HD3 channels. And if you have the app, then you know already that all of them are under your thumb, literally. You tap and you hit play and off you go. Any one of the three schedules, including the one you're on now, which is our HD1 grid. Our transmitter has been, well, we'll call it ill, not feeling well for an extended period of time. Our network engineer, Mo Thomas, is working on that, but it just illustrates another one of those expenses, kind of unplanned, which is now running up quite a tab to get going again. We're again waiting on parts and hopefully going to get that repaired shortly. But this is where your money's going. Keeping this station on the air, all of the essentials. We're up to count them, 1, 2, 3 employees, as Marlo Blue became program director on August 1st, and I accepted a 2-year contract to remain as manager over that time. And it's my honor to do this, and my hope that in 2 years, August 1st in 2027, we'll be passing this off in much better shape than we found it and better shape than we are even now. And you can make that happen. The reality is, if you call or go to kpft.org and click and just do $5 or $10 a month, if you're not doing it already, it makes such a huge difference in the life of this radio station. In fact, if you think about how little it takes, even though we're asking for $175,000, that's a heck of a lot of money. That's more than I'll make in about 4 years on this job. But the point is, it's not much money to keep this dialogue alive, to keep freedom alive on the airwaves here in Houston. And some of you out there may be doing all right. A lot of people are, considering the rotten economy and how many that aren't. There are a few of you out there that are doing okay. And if you listen to this station, then maybe you can step forward and provide that little bit of extra that others cannot do at this point. It's all very welcome. So call that number, 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Get the Politics Done Right t-shirt or whatever thank you gift you'd like. Again, a complete listing of the new concerts that are available is online at kpft.org. You can donate online and snag those tickets while they're up there, and they do disappear. So if you like musical events, concerts, as a way of accepting a thank you from KPFT, this is the time to do it early in the drive, because later, they're not there anymore. So folks, we're just a little bit short of our goal now, about $300, 713-526-5738, and that would be option 1 when you hear the little voice, or kpft.org and click the donate button, making sure that freedom of the airwaves is maintained in Houston. Back to you, Egberto.
Yeah, thank you so kindly, Sandy. By the way, Glenn Ryan says, Egberto, are you still doing the Coffee with Egberto fundraiser gift? Of course, I'm still doing Coffee with Egberto. That is a $250 contribution. And guess what? It's great that you brought that up. I went out with one of our great listeners. She purchased a Coffee with Egberto, and she held off for a while. She was so busy. She bought it like 3 months ago, the last fund drive. And she just called me up and said, okay, I'm ready to go ahead and have coffee now. And we went out last week and we had a great time talking. And I even hooked her up with a couple of with an activist out here, because she said, with all that is going on now, she wants to get involved. So that was like a duality. We sat down, had coffee just as friends. And at the same time, she said, how can I get involved? And she got involved. So yes, I am looking at, I just checked the website, just put in the search, just put Egberto, Egberto, and they have it labeled as breakfast with Egberto, not coffee, but it's really coffee with Egberto. So just put the name Egberto in the thing on the website. Glenn, if you're so kind and want us to do that again, and we'll do that. But yeah, I've had about I don't know, at least 10 of those over the different sessions and gone out to meet people, and we have a good time. It's funny because as I spoke, I went there and we were good. I told her, it was in between shows because, I do this show at 6 and the other one at 3 o'clock. And I said, we can do it in between there. And we were going to meet. And I guess I had a couple hours that we could do then. We are so engaged into talking. I finally said, "Oh my God, we're over. I got to go prepare for the other show." So it was fun. We had a good time. So consider doing that, please. Thank you so kindly, Ben and Ruth. Thank you so kindly for your contribution. Again, folks, the number is 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate, 2 to speak on air. Let's go to Richard, who is back. We hope the connection is better. Richard, come on in.
Yeah, is that better?
Yeah, so far, so good.
Well, I'm hearing me background.
Yes, sir.
It's
Speak,
not
Richard.
gonna
Go.
work. Well, we must be doing something right in Conroe because the fastest lovers have, tried to charge us for our First Amendment right. And thank God for Vicki Scott and Fritz Barnett, who wrote them and the city council and explained to them you cannot charge us for our First Amendment right. And that's just, they don't want us to have disposable income so we can do things like this, so we can donate to our own party. Now, yeah, I'm still getting background. I'm going to go ahead and hang up.
Thank you very much, Richard. Yeah, we have to get that fixed. We'll get it fixed, but again, there's so many things that we have to do here and there to get fixed. Hey, we're trying. Bruce, come on in, my brother.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bruce.
Me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Before I make my point, I get my pension check Saturday. Sometimes it comes a day early. So Friday or Saturday, I'm going to send in $100. I consider this to be a great bargain. The point I wanted to make is even if I got struck by lightning and arranged both my brain cells to become MAGA, I would still have a good, warm feeling when I see a peaceful protest because it tells me I still live in a democracy where dissent is possible. I'd be tickled pink that KPFT is on the radio for the same reason. So I don't understand why these Republicans who claim to be that they love the Constitution are upset about the No Kings. They should be tickled pink. I'm done.
Thank you so kindly for that, Bruce. You want to add to that, Brother Neil?
Actually, I do appreciate the call. I want to address one subject. Last week, a caller called up and asked about the 419 Emancipation Facility, which was being introduced as a homeless super hub. And I just want to give that caller an update. 419 Emancipation is the city wants to use it. City of Houston wants to use it. It's in the East Downtown area as a big homeless hub, they were calling it. They had a hearing about that over the week. The folks of East Downtown in that area did not like that. And there's a lot of industrial, a lot of these facilities are in that area, the sobering center, the shelter, and that has been tabled for the moment. It's part of Mayor Whitmire's homeless initiative, but I saw that news and I wanted to just update that caller from last week. And any matter you ever have on our Thursday morning shows about Houston city government, please call. And I appreciated that call last week.
Thank you so kindly. We got another somebody we have to say a big thank you to. Glenn, thank you, Glenn. You just have to give me a call and let me know when we go for that coffee. I always thank you. You got a coffee with Egberto. I enjoy your company and I enjoy the warring we do in the chats. We love each other. He just wants me to get a little tougher. So I imagine he's going to shake me up when I see him for our next coffee.
Pep talk. Pep talk.
Yeah, he's gonna slap me around when we have the
That's
next
right.
coffee.
That's right. Pep, be all right.
Love you, Glenn. Thank you for that, Glenn. I really thank you for your support. And we also have Steve. Steve, thank you so kindly for your support. Steve says of Trinity Garden, it's a lot of that. Do not call. We listen and support you 100%,
That's
brother.
great.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you absolutely so. Um, Look, let me just say, folks, both Neil and I, we go out there not only in the fields but here on the radio, and we do this. We don't get paid. The
No.
work that Howard, Sandy, and the rest of the staff in the studio. Look, it is important. The work they do, I can't express how important it is. But there ain't any money to pay us anything. But
No.
we are with what we do on the outside. Both Neil and I, as well, are contributor to this program. I do ten
That's
dollars
correct.
a month to this program as well. So I mean, I don't believe in asking for things that I'm not going to do myself. So rest assured, your host and your co-host here, brother Neil Aquino, we are also supporters of KPFT. In fact, my card expired and I got a call from KPFT that said, Egberto, why aren't you giving $10? I'm like, I am giving $10. It's like, well, it's a card. It's a card. No, I'm playing. It's not. It didn't quite go like that, but I'm playing. But we all contribute as well. And the reason why, folks, is we know the urgency of what we do. I try to commend Neil on his work all of the times, and we try on the outside to make sure that that is sustainable, just like you're sustaining us right now. And for that, we want to give you a big thank you. Gayla Kunis is in the house. We also have Lynette. Lynette says, Mary B, I'm a giver. I feel so blessed. I used to give out my abundance. Now I give what I find and usually can find something. Lynette, I love you. You are wonderful. Mary B, you are wonderful. All of you guys. Cheryl Elkins, all supporters of the work. Neil, what else do we need to talk about before we jump to Sandy?
So I just want to continue to emphasize that the whole show has really had a consistent theme of us needing to step up. You see, that's what in the No Kings protest. Um, it does involve resources of money, of time, of some measure of physical risk. I'm part of a protest at Senator Cornyn's office each Tuesday, 11:30 to 1, 5300 Memorial Drive. Someone threw a beer can at us this week from a moving car. It was about I won't name it. I won't give the beer a plug. It was a beer that's in the past at least been associated with right wing causes. So it was no, but I guess they were just drinking that beer in the car and and threw it at one of our people. So there's, this is the atmosphere. They're calling us. We talked a few minutes ago about Mayor Whitmire said the city is not going to the city is not going to address Trump because so much federal funding is contingent. So no matter what they do, and then when our government isn't talking, then when we get involved, we're termed Antifa. Right? It's really something. It's really something. And so I encourage everyone to contribute to Politics Done Right here on KPFT. This is essential independent media. I think the point has been driven home so clearly: who speaks autonomously and freely, and who's inhibited.
I appreciate you, Neil. And before I go to Sandy, I just want to say this, folks. I want to give a big thank you to Ermina. Ermina just gave us a contribution. Actually, I see two contributions in, one right after the other from Ermina.
Great.
Ermina, thank you so kindly for your support. We cannot do this without you at all. I want to talk about the No Kings um, protest because what I want associated with KPFT here, KPFT has nothing to do with No Kings. I need to put that, but since we're talking about it here, and for the sake of the FCC and 501c3s and all of that, I want to make sure and tell everybody we want to simply execute what the Constitution gives us the right to do, to go out
Mm-hmm.
there and be peacefully putting our views out there. Peaceful only. No
Right.
talk back, no nothing. That's what we're talking about. And if you are confronted there, but Indivisible gives you some instructions on how to handle that. I'm going to give you my instructions. My instructions when I go out there with people and people confront me. I tell you that the word love is magical. The word love is magical. And there are times people come and they want to spit in my face. And I just give them a message of love. And this is not a religious message of love or anything like that. This is just, I care about you because you're a human being. And you would be surprised how that brings down the level and you get a chance to talk. The last thing we had a MAGA guy stopped his car and came out there and he was ready to attack me. And we talked a little bit and he said, okay, I'm going to go to that website that you just told me about. But anyway, so we want to make sure no talking back. Mary, your discretion. Sometimes a little talk is okay. But anyway, let me go ahead and go back to Sandy and then we'll come back.
Thank you,
Yes, Sandy?
Egberto. Yes,
Yes, sir.
thank you, Hermina and Steve, Ben and Ruth. Thank you for chiming in on this first morning of our fall fund drive. Again, KPFT is looking to achieve a goal of $175,000. This is actually the highest goal that we've set, albeit by a few $1,000s, maybe five, than we've done since we moved into our studio on Caroline Street. That was 3 years ago in September. So we've been there a little more than 3 years. We've been able to resurrect our community radio station from literally from having a dollar in the bank to feeling pretty good about being able to pay all of its bills for these last 3 years. It's so important. It's so important that we honor our obligations to the power company, to the tower company, to the licensing that we have to go through, and the streaming rights and the broadcast rights for things that we play on the air. All of these bills must be paid. We have to have this from the community to continue. The FCC, the new FCC under Brandon Carr, has been very, very aggressive going after radio stations. A couple in Texas have been forced off the air, and many more are disappearing for lack of funding. The Pacifica Network has been talking to AP News recently. Previously, just unaffordable for us. We just couldn't do it. But even people like the news services are feeling the pinch, and they're willing to talk to us about negotiating maybe a price we can afford to pick up that kind of very valuable content. Many years ago, KPFT used to carry BBC, but that had to be discontinued because of the 40 some odd $1,000 cost per year to carry it. Now we're finding things are becoming more affordable, so I'm kind of excited about maybe getting more valuable content onto the grid and into your ears, such as a quality news service. But to get to even that day, we have to continue paying those bills while we're working on things to make it a reality. And those that have stepped up early this morning to contribute to the station, thank you for doing that. It's heartening to see the response come in early and make our $500 goal this morning. And I think we're right near it or right at it. Another pledge or two, we will definitely be over that $500 mark. But let's not kid ourselves. We can do as much as we want this morning on this program, folks. Your contribution is more than welcome and needed. And if you've never made a pledge before, if you're what we consider a new member, $25 minimum bid makes you a member of the Pacifica Foundation. If you've never made your pledge before, put your toe in the water. Do the $5 a month or do the one-time pledge. But do join in with all the other people making it possible for you to hear this program and all of our programs this morning. If you stand by idly and don't contribute, never contribute, then you're letting others bring you the program. In some circumstance, people just can't. They don't have the money. And you have to understand that too, for those of you with the marginal dollar to give to this radio station, you're making it possible for everyone else to hear and appreciate and think about the content that we provide. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day by three channels, HD 1, 2, and 3. A tremendous effort by our volunteer base. 3 employees and a lot of volunteers make it possible. And I want to tip my hat to Robin Lewis, who again has done an amazing amount of work getting us ready for this fund drive. It's early in the morning. Some of you are reaching for your coffee cup. Remember, for a $120 donation, you can get a KPFT coffee mug and a pound of KPFT Caroline Street beans. And that $120 is almost the price you're going to pay at the grocery store these days for a pound of coffee. Kidding aside, Egberto, I saw an $8 pineapple in the food store. I
Oh
guess
God.
inflation next day. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you so kindly, Sandy, and thank you for bringing up Robin Lewis. Robin, sort of, I mean, she's so quiet and working in the background that you forget to say thank you, Robin Lewis. Thank you very much for the work that you do here. I want to give a big thank you for Sam, and I want to read something that Sam says. I love you, Sam, because the fact that you're given to this show. It says this: Egberto, your show makes me angry sometimes, but I enjoy it. Thanks for making us think. You know, I don't know if you can understand how that makes both Neil and I feel. That you are somebody, we know that we share different ideologies, but we can speak to each other. So, Sam, to that, I want to say thank you, brother. Neil.
Right. The Houston Democracy Project is my effort, and Alberto brought me on here for Thursday so we could specifically talk about local content, local Houston and Harris County affairs. That's coverage you're getting just here. It's very important. Independent media, very important, and all views are heard here. Just as I think it was Steve, all views are heard here, and it's well worth supporting all around.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Sandy, what are we doing? Are we going over a little bit? What are we doing?
We're going to go till 5 after and then join Democracy Now! This morning,
Gotcha.
Egberto.
Great.
Thank you, sir. Anyway, folks, I want to touch on another subject real quickly because I promise you that we get some meat on the some other meat on the bone other than just talking and asking for funds. There is this story that I read, and it actually it was Cindy sent me an article, and another article in there is the one that really touched me, and the title was I want to get it right. First of all, I hope you guys go read the Anne Applebaum story at the Atlantic. Very important about Hungary and how we could become Hungary if we're not careful. But the other story is a study that says, all those pop-up emergency rooms that are coming out. There are a lot of private equity firms that are taking over our healthcare emergency rooms, etc. Now, I gave a speech 2 days ago to the retirement group, a Texas retirement group, and we're talking about Medicare versus Medicare Advantage and what private healthcare means. And folks, the evidence is out. Whenever you enter profit into the system for paying the bill, and whenever you have equity firms buying up emergency rooms, etc., to make a profit, who suffers is you, because you are not their primary goal. Making you healthy, solving your problem is not their primary goal. Making a dollar is their primary goal. And the study has come out that says that the mortality rate at these emergency rooms is higher than the emergency rooms that are not controlled by private equity firms. The article is linked in my newsletter at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. It's a very short read, but it also gives you the links to the corroborating information. Folks, we have to take our democracy back. By the way, we are at the top of the hour, so I want to say this is KPFT Houston. Uh, this is KPFT Houston, folks. I want to. I want to. Let me go ahead and go to Neil for him to tell us a little bit about the the activities on the weekend, and then we'll shut this baby down.
So, no Kings. I think it's going to be the biggest day of protest in American history. There are, I think, 93 signed up events in Texas as of 2 or 3 days ago. There's something like 2,700 nationally. There are local events: Houston, Katy, Conroe, Pasadena, LaPorte, Richmond, Cypress, Kingwood, Brenham, Pearland, Woodlands, Clear Lake, Bryan College Station, Navasota, Cold Spring, Beaumont, our 100,000 watt transmitter. Everywhere it goes, everywhere it beams, someone's holding a No Kings protest, and this is done just by people like you, just by people like us, and just like the donations this morning to Politics Done Right. And this is the reality of this moment, that burdens of sustaining our democracy are on us. It's like the institutions that can't get their own act together and that haven't able to prevent this have transferred already, have transferred this burden to us, and we have to we have to step up to it for our own good. And what needs to come after it, frankly, are some different ways of operating, so that this doesn't happen again. But you can, if you go and Google No Kings, Google your town, Google a zip code, 50501, you'll find it'll come to it'll come, and there's hardly any money involved with this. I just can't overstate that they're going to get millions of folks for these 2,500 demonstrations. Elected officials are not at the center of it. The party is not at the center of it. This is really us, and then we need to take it from there.
Thank you very much, Neil. That is Neil Aquino from Houston Democracy Project. Look, I want to close out by first thanking the great folk at KPFT for the work that goes into this. Jack Van Bever is, in as much as he's doing our operations work to get us on air here as well, he will be giving a big speech out there at one of these No Kings events, and I can't wait to hear it, because he's been giving these short monologues here for quite some time, and we're going to be having somebody that represents out there, Jack Van Bever.
I think he and I are going to be on the same stage at City
Excellent,
Hall. Yeah, yeah.
excellent. I've seen some of his work. He's put in a whole lot of stuff into it. I want to thank Howard Reynolds. Howard, I don't know, man, you really keep us on air. So, folks, when you're donating, you are supporting some very hard workers. Sandy, great work for keeping this stuff up, and for keeping this stuff going. My brother Neil, love you. Robin Lewis. And now a big kudos to all the programmers at KPFT, because this is a family that it's one of those families that, you know how families are, right? But we get the job done, and we put a whole lot of good stuff on here. So I want to say thank you, those of you that are listening, those of you that have contributed. We love you. Thank you for doing it. And let me pass it for a last word from Sandy, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you, Egberto, and thanks to the whole team in the studio and to your team as well, Egberto. I know you work incredibly hard to bring us this program. In fact, this is your life, night and day. I know it. And folks, we're very lucky to have folks like Egberto amongst us that are willing to put in the time. So again, if you haven't made a pledge ever to KPFT, this is a great time to do it. This time in history, right now, so important. A big thank you to Margaret Kay from Chesapeake, Virginia, for chiming in this morning and making a donation. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be asking again to make a small goal here in the morning. Egberto, thank you.
Thank you very much. And, Sandy says we're going to be back asking tomorrow again. He's absolutely right. But we are going to have programming, folks. So please,
Right.
I know a lot of times people stay back because they don't want to hear us ask. But remember, we're having programming as well. So thank you all for your support. Neil, thank you so kindly for being
Great.
here. That is HoustonDemocracyProject.com. Is it .com or .org? Houston Democracy Project
Com.
.com, HoustonDemocracyProject.com. Please remember, go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter for the rest of the show. You can write me directly at kpft@politicsdoneright.com. Love you all. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
KPFT is supported in part by the Do-Si-Do Big Barn, 25911 Interstate 45, The Woodlands, Texas, who have donated tickets for